my stunning, long-legged nemesis, the ultimate ice queen, has suddenly undergone a complete personality transplant. She's dead set on visiting me in the middle of the night now that I have amnesia. All because I got into a minor fender bender. Even though the doctor said I'm perfectly fine, I had a sudden stroke of genius and decided to fake amnesia, just to mess with her a little. Plus, it's the perfect way to dodge the corporate marriage my family is forcing on me. But I never expected this. My rival of 20 years, the woman I've been at war with since childhood, the IC CEO of Lu Global, Serafina Lu, was actually the first one to burst into my hospital room. With bloodshot eyes, she grabbed my hand, then pulled me into a tight embrace, sobbing, "Darling, you're finally awake." Watching her incredibly heartfelt performance, she was practically radiating maternal warmth and devotion. I get it, this woman wants to take advantage of my brain damage, doesn't she? She wants to swindle me out of my family fortune. Fine, I'll play along. But when she started spoon-feeding me and wiping my mouth, and even started cuddling me to sleep, I realized things were starting to go south. The way this woman looks at me, why is she starting to look like a hungry wolf? Like she's found a prime piece of meat. Wait, it looks like she isn't just after my money. She's after my body too. Back when my head slammed into the steering wheel, I had only one thought: I'm screwed. Is my multi-million-dollar face, the face that's only slightly less handsome than the guys reading this story, going to be permanently disfigured? When I finally opened my eyes again, it was late at night. The scent of the hospital filled my nose, that familiar mix of disinfectant and the smell of old money. I'm Chase Jiang, the Crown Prince of Jiang Enterprises. Essentially, I'm a world-class playboy. I'd been in a car accident. My attending physician was a guy with a major receding hairline. He was holding my brain's CT scans, looking dead serious as he spoke to my useless uncle, Arthur Jiang. The patient's physical condition is fine. However, due to the impact on the brain, he might experience temporary amnesia. On Arthur's face, which had the word ambition practically etched into it, a look of deep concern instantly appeared. "Chase, my boy, do you still recognize your uncle?" I looked at him and blinked. My gaze was clear, innocent, and totally blank. Goo goo gaga. I looked like a fresh-faced college grad who hadn't been hit by reality yet. Then, I slowly shook my head. The corner of Arthur's mouth curled into an almost imperceptible smirk. The fish had taken the bait. That's right, I didn't actually lose my memory. The doctor said, might, not definitely. Just moments ago, while I was closing my eyes and playing dead, I clearly heard my dear uncle on the phone with that woman, Bianca White. "Bianca, don't worry. The doctor says he might have amnesia. When he wakes up, I'll tell him you're his fiancée. Once we lock in the engagement, the Jiang inheritance will be as good as ours." Wow. I mean, seriously? Just wow. My parents just left for a business trip. Their bodies aren't even cold yet. Wait, scratch that. Their plane barely even took off. And he's already itching to sell me out, just so he can swallow the company whole. Since you want to play, uncle, I'll play with you. Faking amnesia? Easy. I'm a man who once audited acting classes at the National Academy, after all. Just as I was preparing to continue my role as a pure, innocent youth, bewildered by the world, the hospital door slammed open with a loud bang. A woman stormed in like a whirlwind. A gust of expensive perfume hit me, as her high heels clicked against the floor like war drums. The newcomer was wearing a sharp, crisp white suit. Her long hair was swept up, revealing a slender swan-like neck. Her makeup was flawless. Her gaze was icy, and she radiated a step aside or "I'll crush you" aura. It was none other than Serafina Lu, the CEO of Lu Global. She's also the girl I grew up with. Same preschool, same elementary, same middle school. We used to let the air out of each other's bike tires, shove caterpillars into each other's backpacks, and spent 20 years in a state of constant, total war. There was zero love lost between us, so what was she doing here? I froze for a second, and 18 different possibilities flashed through my mind. Was she here to laugh at me? Or was she here to confirm if I was dead or not? Maybe she wanted to wait until I was buried, so she could burn some joss paper and celebrate with a party. But what happened next completely fried my brain's CPU. The legendary Ice Queen CEO saw me, and in that instant, her frozen mask, the one she'd worn for years, completely melted away. Her eyes turned red instantly, looking as if she'd just suffered the world's greatest injustice. She rushed to my bedside in 3 quick strides, and right under Arthur's dumbfounded gaze, She snatched up my hand. Her hand was cold, but her voice was trembling and tearful. Soft, sweet, and incredibly delicate. Darling, you're finally awake. You scared me to death. The air in the entire hospital room froze for 3 solid seconds. The moment she said, darling, I looked into her beautiful almond-shaped eyes, which were quickly filling with tears. That threatened to spill over. With that pitiful, tragic expression on her face, her acting was so top tier. She could have signed up for an Oscar right then and there. In a flash, I realized what was happening. Oh, I see. Wow, okay. My dear uncle wants to set me up with a fake fiancé, but my dear rival decided to cut straight to the chase and crown herself as my official girlfriend. We're both clever foxes here. Who are you trying to fool with this ghost story? Looking at her performance, it was clear Serafina had also zeroed in on my amnesia as the perfect golden opportunity. She didn't just want a piece of the pie. She wanted to take the whole damn cake. I sneered inwardly, but on the outside, I kept up my mask of pure, confused innocence. I tilted my head and looked at her, my eyes filled with the curiosity and timidity of a total stranger. Miss, who are you? Do we know each other? That soft, timid miss made Serafina's entire body stiffen. Her tragic, grief-stricken expression almost cracked, but I caught it. A flash of both disgust and pure ecstasy in her eyes. She quickly adjusted her face and said in an even more heartbroken tone, Chase, it's me, Serafina. I'm your girlfriend. Do you really not remember me? We were so in love. As she spoke, she even managed to squeeze out 2 crystalline tears, which rolled down her cheeks at the perfect moment. I watched her, feeling absolutely nothing inside. I actually kind of wanted to give her a round of applause. She really is the woman who's been fighting me for 20 years. Her professional skills are terrifyingly good. Arthur was standing off to the side, completely stunned. He pointed at Serafina, then at me, his mouth hanging open for a long time before he sputtered, Nonsense! When did my nephew ever have a girlfriend? How come I didn't know about this? Serafina immediately turned her full firepower on him. She turned to look at Arthur, her eyes returning to that sharp, icy coldness. Uncle Arthur, this is a private matter between Chase and me. Do I need to report my dating life to you? Or are you trying to take advantage of Chase's amnesia to do something to him? With those words, she completely shut down anything Arthur was going to say next. Arthur's face turned a mottled shade of blue and white. He pointed at Serafina, stammering, you, for ages, but he couldn't get a single coherent word out. Finally, he just threw his hands up in a rage. This is preposterous. After saying that, he glared at me, as if asking why I wasn't being more useful, and then stormed out of the room. Only I was left in the ward, along with my brand new girlfriend. The room fell silent once again. Serafina looked at me, and the grief on her face vanished without a trace. It was replaced by a cold, calculating gaze, as if she were evaluating a piece of merchandise she'd just acquired. I looked back at her, maintaining my harmless, wide-eyed stare. Come on then, let's hurt each other. Let's see who breaks first. She was probably convinced I'd gone completely brain dead. So, once again, she plastered on a tender, sickly sweet smile that could make your skin crawl. Using a tone like she was coddling a toddler, she whispered softly, My dear Chase, don't be afraid. I'll be here with you from now on, and I'll take care of everything. I nodded like a little chick pecking a grain. Then I reached out my hand and pointed at the sliced apple on the nightstand. Miss, I'm hungry. The smile on Serafina Lou's face froze. I saw her eyebrows twitch slightly. Clearly, waiting on someone hand and foot was nowhere near her professional wheelhouse, but she still picked up a slice of apple and handed it to me. I didn't take it. I just opened my mouth and let out an, ah. Serafina Lou? Her expression looked exactly like she had just swallowed a fly. That look of wanting to snap but having to hold it in was pure constipation. It was absolutely magnificent. In my mind, I was already rolling on the floor laughing, but my face remained locked in that look of wide-eyed innocence. Miss, feed me. Serafina took a deep breath. I could practically hear her grinding her back teeth together. In the end, she resigned herself to her fate and brought the slice of apple to my lips. Forcing a practiced, professional smile, she said, Good boy. Open up. I took a bite. Sweet. It was incredibly sweet. The news of Serafina Lou's meticulous care for me quickly spread throughout the entire high society circle. Everyone was stunned. The crown prince of the Jiang family and the she-devil of the Liu family. These two were fundamentally incompatible. The fact that these arch-rivals were actually a couple was insane, and that they were head over heels in love. Chase Jiang gets into a car accident and loses his memory, and Serafina Liu stays by his side through thick and thin? What kind of fairy tale romance was this? My best friend and ultimate wingman? Luke Vance was the first to charge into the hospital. He was carrying a basket of fruit, as he burst into the room like a whirlwind. The moment he saw the scene before him, he literally turned into a stone statue. I was currently leaning back against the headboard, enjoying an orange peeled personally by the hands of CEO Liu. Serafina was holding a slice of orange, a perfect smile plastered on her face, as she said gently, "Open wide." I opened my mouth and ate it. Then, in a voice so sweet it was nauseating, I said, "Thank you, Ms. Serafina." The fruit basket in Luke's hand hit the floor with a loud thud. Apples and bananas rolled all over the place. His jaw dropped so low you could have fit an egg in his mouth. His eyes were bulging like copper bells, with a look of pure seismic shock in his pupils. "Holy shit!" He pointed at Serafina, then at me, his expression screaming that his worldview had just collapsed. "Chase! You, her, what the hell is this?" Seeing Luke, Serafina stood up gracefully, wiped her hands with a tissue, and immediately reassumed her persona as the icy CEO. "Mr. Vance, please keep your voice down. Chase needs his rest." Luke ignored her completely. He lunged to my bedside in a single stride, and grabbed my shoulders, shaking me violently. "Chase, wake up. Did someone put a hex on you? This is Serafina fucking Liu, the woman who used to steal your lollipops, tear up your homework, and draw turtles on your bicycle. The one you had a contest with to see who could pee further, and you lost miserably." He shook me until I was dizzy and cross-eyed. I could only look at him with a face full of confusion. "Who are you?" "I don't know you." Luke's movements came to a screeching halt. He looked into my clear, blank, and rather stupid gaze, and he was completely dumbfounded. "No way, Chase. Did you actually lose your memory?" I gave a slow nod. Luke let out a mournful wail and flopped onto the floor. He clutched his head in both hands, looking like the sky was falling. "It's over. It's all over. My boy Chase has gone soft in the head, and now he's being played by the she-devil. Can't you see? The look in her eyes is just goo-goo-gaga fake." Serafina let out a cold snort from the side, looking down at him with disdain. "Luke Vance, you can eat whatever you want, but you'd better watch your mouth. Chase and I are truly in love. Please respect our relationship." Truly in love? Luke acted like he'd just heard the joke of the century. He literally bounced up from the floor. "If you two are truly in love, I'll go streaking through the streets tomorrow." Serafina's eyebrow arched as she prepared to retort, but right then, I timidly tugged on the hem of her jacket. "Miss Serafina, who is he? He's so scary. I'm frightened." I hid behind Serafina as I spoke, acting exactly like a startled little rabbit. Serafina glanced down at me, her eyes showing a complex mix of emotions. For a split second, I felt that icy aura of hers melt just a tiny bit. She reached out and actually patted me gently on the back. Though the movement was a bit stiff, it was definitely meant to be comforting. "Don't be afraid. His name is Luke Vance. He's your best friend." Then she looked up and glared at Luke with an unfriendly gaze. "See that? You're scaring him." Luke's expression looked even worse than if he'd just eaten something gross. I stayed hidden behind Serafina, peeking half my head out, to look at Luke with my most innocent eyes. Then I spoke up. "A friend?" I pointed at Luke, then pointed back at myself before turning to Serafina. I asked with a face full of curiosity, "Miss Serafina, if he's my best friend, then he must know everything about our past, right?" Serafina's body visibly stiffened for a moment. Luke froze as well. I continued my performance, my eyes sparkling with a thirst for knowledge. "I remember you telling me that the first time we met was on a rainy day. You didn't have an umbrella, so I gave you mine, and ran home in the pouring rain, right?" This was the romantic meeting story Serafina had made up for me the day before. It was full of holes, and so cringeworthy I could have burrowed a hole into the floor with my toes. Serafina bit the bullet and nodded. Right, exactly. That's how it happened." I immediately turned to Luke, and asked with an expectant face, "You're Luke, right? Were you there at the time? I remember you laughed at me for being stupid, saying I was risking my life just to chase a girl." Luke's brain had clearly short-circuited. His mouth hung open as he looked at me and then at Serafina, his eyes full of the confusion of, "Who am I? Where am I? What the hell are you talking about?" Serafina, standing to the side, shot Luke a subtle, warning look. The meaning in that gaze was crystal clear. If you dare blow my cover, you're dead. Luke was a smart guy. He was a playboy, but he wasn't an idiot. He looked at my innocent face and Serafina's murderous eyes, and he instantly realized something was up, and it was definitely something big. My bro was definitely being set up. He took a deep breath, forcing a smile onto his face that looked more like he was crying. Right. That's exactly what happened. I was right there. I even took photos of you two. Gosh, look at my memory. I nodded with satisfaction. He was a quick learner. Then, I threw out my next question. And I also remember Miss Serafina saying that, to woo her, I stood under her dorm building and played the guitar, singing love songs all night long. And in the end, I was chased away by the security guard with a stick. Weren't you acting as my lookout back then? The smile on Luke's face froze completely. Cold sweat started beads on his forehead. Playing guitar and singing love songs? Chase John? The guy who couldn't carry a tune if his life depended on it? Chased away by a security guard? This was more far-fetched than a horror movie. Serafina, standing nearby, had already begun to slice him up with her eyes. Luke's survival instinct went into overdrive. He slapped his thigh hard. Right, exactly, that's it. I was right there next to you, holding the spotlight. It was so moving, so heart-wrenching. It was world-shaking. Even the security guard was moved to tears by you. He said he only wanted to invite you in for a cup of tea. He looked like he wanted to gag just saying it. I watched the two of them, one digging a hole like a maniac, and the other filling it back up with tears in her eyes. I almost burst out laughing. No, I had to spice things up a bit more. I grabbed Serafina's hand with a look of deep gratitude. I looked at her with pure affection. Serafina, you're so good to me. I can't believe you're willing to revisit. Such embarrassing memories just for my sake. Serafina's face went from white to red, and then to a lovely shade of green. I pressed on. I turned to Luke and said, Luke, thank you. Once I'm better, I'll definitely take a bullet for you, too. Luke waved his hands frantically. No, bro, please don't. Just focus on getting better. The company, your girlfriend is more important. The way he looked at Serafina was full of pure awe and pity. It was as if he was saying, Godspeed, brother, take care. After a soul-crushed Luke finally left, it was just the two of us in the room again. Serafina let out a long, weary sigh. Her whole body finally relaxed. She rubbed her stiff face. I looked at her and suddenly said, Serafina? I think I just remembered something. She instantly snapped to attention. What did you remember? I said with a serious face, I think I remember that I have a bank card. The PIN is your birthday. And I think there's a lot of money in it. Serafina's eyes lit up instantly. They were as bright as a 1,000-watt bulb. Serafina's efficiency was nothing short of terrifying. After I recalled the bank card with her birthday as the password, it only took her half a day to use the excuse of safeguarding my assets, to get all my cards and IDs from my still fuming uncle. She basically snatched them right out of his hands. Of course, the process was full of elite business corporate jargon, verbal sparring, and intense power playing, but I didn't care. I only cared about the result. The result was Serafina sitting by my bed with a stack of my cards, trying them out one by one. The pen she used for every single one? Her birthday. I watched her focused, expectant expression. She looked like a child about to open a mystery box. I marveled again at how far this woman was willing to go for money. She tried the first card. Incorrect pin. She frowned. It's fine. Next one. Incorrect pin. Her frown deepened. Incorrect pin. Incorrect pin. Incorrect pin. When the final card also showed incorrect pin, Serafina's face was as dark as the bottom of a burnt pot. She looked up at me. That look. It was like she was looking at a defective product that broke right out of the box. I immediately pulled my head back, looking innocent and hurt. What's wrong, Serafina? Did I remember it wrong? Serafina took a deep breath and squeezed a few words through her teeth. It's fine. You probably just remembered the wrong card. She shoved the pile of useless cards back into her bag, with a bit of violence. I looked at her and spoke cautiously. Are you angry, Serafina? No, she answered quickly, but her tone was harsh. You are angry, I pouted, my eyes turning red on command. Is it because you think I'm a useless idiot? Because I can't even remember a PIN? Is that why you don't love me anymore? Serafina stared at me, seeing me on the verge of tears. The vein in her temple was throbbing. I knew she probably wanted to strangle me right now, but she couldn't. Her persona was that of a devoted, loyal girlfriend. If she dared to lose her temper with me, all her hard work acting up to this point would be for nothing. So she had to take another deep breath and force a smile that looked more painful than crying. How could you say that? I love you more than anything in the world. It's okay if you can't remember. How about you let me manage all your money from now on, okay? There it was. The fox's tail was finally showing. I sneered internally, but on the outside, I broke into a smile through my tears. I nodded vigorously. Okay, I'll let you handle all my money. Everything I have is yours. A genuine sliver of a smile finally appeared on Serafina's face. To pacify her amnesiac idiot boyfriend, and to secure her future meal ticket, she decided to discharge me from the hospital and take me back to her apartment to live with her. She called it making it easier to take care of me. Naturally, I was all for it. Isn't this just the lamb walking into the lion's den? Or rather, the wolf walking into the lamb's den? Serafina's apartment was a top-tier penthouse in the city center. The decor matched her personality.